If you want to write control-beating copy and join the ranks of the best copywriters in the world, it's no secret that you need copy critique from a great copywriter. But what if for some reason you don't have someone to critique your copy? Maybe it's too expensive, or maybe you're just busy and you want to get better every single day. Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I critique my own copy and how I've taught dozens of my copywriting clients how to critique their copy too. Let's get into it. There are 4 things I would recommend that you start with when you critique your own copy. The first one is hooks. And you want to look at your hook and you want to really identify what about the hook is compelling and interesting and emotionally compelling. Because I think a lot of copywriters, what they don't understand about hooks is that a hook needs to have a benefit. You need something that's emotionally compelling, but you also need something that's intellectually interesting. And the reason I bring this up is because most copywriters I review copy for, I end up just giving them the same feedback they could have seen for themselves. Like, you could look at your copy and you can say, okay, this talks about the reader. Like, this is explaining why they should care, but it's not fresh. It's not interesting. For example, how to make money online. That is emotionally compelling because people do want to make money online, but everybody says how to make money online. So even though your hook might be emotionally compelling, how to make money online, it might not necessarily be interesting, because everybody makes that same statement. So what you want to do with hooks is you want to find a balance between something emotionally compelling and also something intellectually interesting. A good example of how to make money online could be something like how this 16-year-old made $300 yesterday from his bed. It's still got the same idea of how to make money online, but it's got this like the 16-year-old from his bed, $300. It's like, it's kind of curious. Like, I kind of want to know a bit more about those things, you know? And I can give you many more examples, and you know what, maybe when we release this video, I'll just put in the description below some examples of some good hooks so that you can have a look at some more examples of this. But really, it's about having something emotionally compelling and intellectually interesting. Because here's the thing, right? People subconsciously, when they look at copy, the first thing they say is like, have I seen this before? That's the very first thing that they think about. Have I seen this before? If they've seen it before, then they can dismiss it because it was obviously something they've already seen, right? So I don't need to pay attention. I've already seen it. Then they ask themselves, why do I care? So have I seen this before? Yes or no? The second thing is like, do I care? Right? Like, why do I care? Do I care? I don't care. Do I care? Should I bother? Like, I've never seen this before, but I don't care. That happens, right? Sometimes you have copy where it's like, you know, how to build a business. Yeah, maybe I don't care. Maybe I don't want to build a business. Maybe I just want to make money online. Maybe I don't want to build a business. I just want money, right? Like, some people don't want to build a business, right? So why do I care? That's the second thing that people ask. And the third thing is, so what? So if you can answer these 3 questions with your hook, if you can get these 3 questions like very, very confidently solved when you read your copy and you're like, yeah, this answers why should I care? Have I seen this before? No, I haven't. So what? Oh, interesting. That sounds good. If you can get those 3 things and you can get it right, then your hooks can be very, very strong. So those are the 2 tactics I would say always look at when you review your hooks. Like, it might be emotionally compelling, but it's not intellectually interesting. Or it might be very intellectually interesting, but it's got no emotional appeal. So like many, many hooks I've seen, the reverse pyramid fitness system. Okay, it's intellectually interesting because I've never heard that before, but what is the benefit? What is the emotional appeal to that? Versus like, he did reverse pyramid for 3 weeks and lost 10 pounds. Oh, like, you see how we attach the emotional appeal? Like, he did this thing I've never heard of, and he got this result I really, really care about. Like, you put those together, you have a very, very powerful hook. And those are just 2 like basic examples off the top of my head. I'll put some more in the description. I'll give you some really good examples. I'll give you some examples of like average hooks that are like not so good, and then show you how we use these tactics to make them good. I think you'll really enjoy that. I'll make it a Google Doc. I'll just drop in the description below, so go check it out after this video. And by the way, what we just covered is what we talk about in Copy Basecamp as well. Like, I made Copy Basecamp with the idea of, you know, giving you what you need to critique your own work, because, you know, you can't always get critique. So like, I put it together and I made it in a way that you can go through the modules, do the exercises, and improve your own copy. And that's one of the things I consider when I created Copy Basecamp is I want you to be able to review and critique your own copy every single day. You don't need to wait for a copy coach, Go through the modules. If you join Copy Basecamp, go through the modules and go through the exercises. And I have exercises on improving your hooks. I have exercises on some of the other things I want to share with you. I'm going to mention Copy Basecamp quite a few times in this video to show you kind of like the same tactics and strategies I'm sharing with you. These are the kinds of strategies we break down in more detail and many, many others in Copy Basecamp. But whenever you learn copy, you need to be able to take an exercise away from the lesson. Like if you learn some theory, you need to be able to take that theory and think of some way you can actually practice it so that you can get better, okay? So let's get into the next point. Okay, so the second thing that you want to review when you're looking at your own copy is the flow. You want to analyze flow and you want to ask yourself, am I making a compelling argument all the way down my copy? Because like one of the most important things many, many good copywriters say is your copy, each sentence should lead into the next sentence. Each sentence should take the reader into the next piece of copy. And it's because of consumption, right? If somebody doesn't read all of your message, they're not usually going to buy, right? So a lot of copywriters make the mistake that if they have a good hook and they have a good offer, they can kind of talk about whatever in the middle. It's just like whatever you need to say to get them to the next point. But that's a really bad idea. You really want to make sure that you have a good flow. So I'm going to give you 3 questions. And if you want to go deeper, it's in module 22 of Copy Basecamp. But these 3 questions will really help you with flow. So the first, and by the way, you want to ask these questions as if you're the reader. You want to think about it from the reader's perspective, the person reading. So the first question they're going to ask when they're reading down the sales page or the email is, what are you talking about? Like, what is this, right? Same sort of question as when they see the hook, when they see the first message, they're asking themselves, what is this? As they keep reading, they're still asking themselves that question. They're like, what is this? So in the beginning of copy, you want to start talking about what it is that you're going to be talking about. For example, yes, like let's go back to that previous example of the kid that's 16 years old and is making $300 from his bed yesterday. You could start the email, if it was an email, like, yes, that's right. Ben, who is just 16 years old, made $300 last night from his bed. And although that sounds crazy, it's possible because of this one thing that he did. Something like that. Like now they're like, what is this thing that he did? Like, you're talking about this, you're answering the question in their head of like, what is this? So the second question is, what does that really have to do with me? Like, does this matter to me? And kind of like the hook, you still want to kind of address why they should care because, it's not once done, always done. With copy, you have to keep winning their attention all the way through the copy. You have to keep getting their attention. So, now in the main piece of copy, your flow, you have to start talking about why they should care. It's like, Ben made $300 from his bed yesterday, and he's not the only one. In fact, there are hundreds of people right now making $300, $400, even $500. Regular people, just like yourself, who a few months ago had no idea about the thing I'm about to share with you. See now how like connects really closely to like, I'm now talking about something that they should care about because like yourself, people like you, when like a few months ago didn't know about this and now they're making money. So we're kind of like attaching it. We're saying you're at that point right now, you don't know what this is, but like you should know soon and then you're going to be able to benefit too, right? So you see how you like create that sales conversation, right? And then the last thing is, what should I do about it? So this is the last question people ask themselves because they're thinking in their head like, okay, I kind of know what this is. I know what it has to do with me for, or like I know why it has to do with me. What do I do? Like, is there some sort of action I need to take? And that's kind of when you transition into the close and you say, and this system is very, very simple. You don't really need any experience. It's a brand new thing no one's ever talked about before. If it was in BizOp, right? We're going back to the 16-year-old with $300 in his bed example. Kind of silly example, but I think it's a perfect one for this. And it's like, and if you want to know what that is, what I will tell you is you don't need experience and it's 100% online and you don't have to, have a degree or anything. Click the link and I'm going to show you exactly what it is right on the next page in a 5-minute video and how you can do it too. See, like you tell them what to do next. So if you cover those 3 things, whether it's a sales page, whether it's an email, whether it's Instagram, if you can answer those questions in that order, the flow is typically going to be pretty good. Now, there are a lot more details you need to go into. So what I would say is like another exercise that you can do is You must look at good copy that has good flow, and you need to break down each section individually. You say like, okay, this section does this, and then it moves into this section, then there's a transition, then it moves into this section, then there are bullets, then there's a close, then there's a PS. Like, you need to have that sort of, that perspective. You look at copy and you break it down. And that's something we do in Basecamp as well, actually. I'm bringing up Basecamp a lot, but like, we do this because I know how effective it is. And it's like, we look at copy, we look at a good piece of copy, and we break down piece by piece, like why it's good and what they do in each section so that you can replicate it. Let's get into the third one. So the third thing you want to look at when reviewing your own copy is the close. And the reason that you want to look at the close is because so few copywriters make an effort with the close. They build their headline, they build their lead, they work on the flow, and then it's kind of like click here. If it's an email, for example, it's like click here, you get started. You want to really get into it. When you have a good close, you increase the conversion rate so much with email, for example. Like, people are going to open the email, right? You're going to get a certain open rate, but the performance of the email all comes down to whether or not you get a good close. If you get a good close, you could double or even triple the performance of an email. So I love to focus on how can I make the close as compelling as possible? How can I make the close something that they want? And there's two tactics. The first one is the same as we were just talking about with flow. You want to break it down and figure out like why somebody used the close that they did. You want to think about like reverse engineering the close, reverse engineering step by step what somebody else did that you really liked. So if you see a close you like, save that close. I have a Google Doc actually where I put all my favorite closes, and I broke them down in Basecamp in modules 15, 16, 17, and 18. But I have like all my favorite closes. There's like 10 different ways I like to close that are really, really good, that are my favorites. There are a lot of closes out there. There are a lot of ways to close. That would be the first thing, is to collect lots of really, really good closes that you've seen work, break down why they work, and then maybe even give them a name. Like for me, I give some of my closes like the conditional close, the assumptive close, the crossroad close, the direct close, the hidden close. You know, like I give them names and I really think about like what can I do to really remember the close. Because if I'm writing an email and I want to use a close, like let's say I want to use the assumptive close, then I'm going to think, okay, I'm going to write this email and then at the end, I'm going to transition into an assumptive close. And it's just so much better when you have that collection, you know? So I have a collection I shared in Basecamp already, but you don't need to join Basecamp to get good at this. Like you can just create your own collection of closes. That'd be the first thing, is break down good copy and go and analyze and save, create an archive of closes that you can use. And the second thing I would recommend you do is learn how to create excitement when you transition into the close. Like don't just close, transition, excite them into the close. For example, a lot of copy in an email, and we're going to use a lot of email examples because that's like a really good place to start learning how to do this stuff correctly. Like with email, you could say, and if you want my help with that, click the link below and I'll show you in 10 minutes how I do what I do. It's like, it's okay, you know, it's like, it's okay close. That's a conditional close. If you want this, then click the link. I would prefer to have a build up and say, I want to show you how to do it too. I want to show you what's possible when you understand this simple system. So many people have already done it. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. And when you're ready, if that's today, then click the link below and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this too. I'm going to show you, then you go into it, right? But like you have to build up that excitement first, maybe like that, or there's lots of ways to build up excitement. You can do it in other ways too. But that's an example. Instead of just saying like, and if you want help, click the link below. It's like, and I've helped so many people with this and I would love to help you too. In fact, that's why I even send you these emails, because I know you might want this. I know that you've been looking for a way to make money online, or you've been looking for something to help you with this problem. And I want to show you that it's possible. I want to give you the best thing I put together over the last 5 years. Like you see how you build that up, like you excite them. It's like you build it up, you don't just jump in. So that's the third one. Look at your close, ask yourself, is it just like one small little link? If it's email, for example, is it one small link and then you move on? If it is, then you probably could improve there. And it's the same with ads. It's the same with landing pages. A lot of closes, especially with long form copy, they don't handle objections. They don't build up the excitement. They don't price anchor. They don't do a lot of stuff that you really could do to get the close to be really, really good. And I think maybe part of the reason why this happens to copywriters is that by the time you get to the close, you're tired. You've been writing a long email or an ad or a landing page. You've been building up this message. By the time you get to the close, it's like it's like, let's just close and get out of here. Like, let's just finish, And I think that sometimes ruins copy. So that would be the third thing. And the fourth thing is voice. Now, this is interesting because a lot of copywriters don't really know what voice is, but the easiest way for me to describe to you what voice is this. If I can copy your copy, I can take your copy and I can use it for any business, then it's got no real voice in it because everybody can use it. So ask yourself, like, the copy I just wrote, can I take this copy and can I use this copy and use it for any business and it'll still work? If you can, then the copy is kind of generic. The copy is not that original. And this is one of the things AI can't, it can do this if you know what you're doing, but this is why we still need copywriters, because we need a copywriter to identify, like, this doesn't sound like this business owner. This does, Okay, so there are 3 elements to voice. Let's go over each of them really briefly. In Basecamp, we go over it in length. We got 20 modules on voice. So, join Basecamp if you want to really take your copy skills to the next level. But real quick, you got style, you got personality, and you got values. And style is just the rhythm of the writing. It's like the way that the person writes. Do they use a lot of exclamation points? Do they stretch the copy? Like, when I say stretch, I mean, do they have lots of spacing? Do they spread their sentence? So one sentence here, then another sentence, and then for dramatic effect, another sentence that's very, very short. What is their rhythm and their writing style, right? That's a style thing. The second thing is personality. Now, I like personality because this is where you get to tell stories. This is where you get to make jokes. You have a certain sense of humor. You can use that humor in your copy. Another thing that personality is good for is how well you use first name field, for example, in emails, or just the general energy of the copy. What's their way of sharing their message? With personality, style is just the words and the writing and the delivery of the words, right? But personality is what kind of ideas do they usually think about? Some clients I will write for, one of them is a young guy, he's 20. His personality is he likes to make lots of cringy, silly jokes about himself. So personality is really, really good. You need to analyze that as well. And then values. Values is the third one. So with values, it's what are their beliefs? What are their big beliefs around business or around health or whatever they're selling, right? It's every business owner has a different set of beliefs and reasons that they do what they do. So when you can sell that in the copy and you say, for example, one of my old clients loves saying, you don't have an income problem, you have a skill problem. When I was writing for Dan Martell, he would say something like, build the team and the team will build the business. So you say that in the copy, it's instantly going to make people think, oh, it's Dan Martell, because Dan Martell says that. That's Dan Martell's belief. So imagine, right? You got good style, sounds like Dan. It's short, punchy, direct, to the person. The personality, high energy, excited about life, good drive, wants to push people to succeed. And the other thing as well with voice is that people assume if it's an email that they wrote it until you break that magic. If you do something that doesn't quite sound like them, they might not notice because they might just assume it's the person, right? So they're not going to overthink it. But if you break the magic and it becomes obvious that it's not them, then they don't trust you anymore. Then they won't read the emails. So this is why it's so important to get voice right. You don't want to let them ever feel like it's not coming from the business owner. The second you break that magic, that subscriber will never ever read again. That's why I still write my own posts, because I know with copy, especially copywriters reading my posts, they're going to know if this is me or not, And if I were to hire somebody to write for me and they wrote for me and the post doesn't sound like me, and then they're like, oh, he's just he's just selling something, right? Every single module in Basecamp, I wrote myself. I wrote every single one of them. I had my team help me find examples, help me structure the content. They helped me with stuff, but every word, I wrote those words, And I think that this is a very, very valuable thing. And, when you work with clients, obviously they don't do it. They want you to do it, but you still need to give your client's audience, the impression that it's all them. It just adds magic to the experience. Whether it's e-com, whether it's personal brand, whether it's a fitness business, it doesn't matter. Get voice right. Very few copywriters know how to get voice right. You can use AI to write in voice. I've trained AI to write in voice. It's very good, but you still have to show AI, here's the personality, here's the values, here's the style. Give it some examples. You actually have to train it. Like I just told you, I told you that these 3 elements of voice, you need to give AI those 3 elements for each of your clients and say, hey, here it is, here it is, here it is. This is the kind of thing you need to do. Now write like that. AI will pump out some amazing stuff that will sound very fresh, sound very unique. No one will be able to copy you. You will love the kind of stuff that you can get with AI when you use this. So there's like a little bonus tactic, I suppose I could say. Like, here, use the stuff I shared with you today, train AI on it. You will not be disappointed. So that's all I got for you today. Those are the 4 things you can do to review your own copy. I would say list them out maybe on a Google Doc and actually grade yourself out of 10 for each piece of copy. You read it, you say, out of 10, how good is my hook? Out of 10, how good is the flow? Out of 10, how good is the close? Out of 10, how close is the voice to the actual business? And then you see, like, how close am I? And if you get it very close, then it's time to submit it for some review from some copy coach or someone that can actually give you a different perspective. I would not submit stuff until I feel like it's an 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Because I know then, like, they're not going to give me obvious feedback. Because that's the worst thing. I often see this when I work with private clients. Like, they'll submit copy, and when they submit the copy, the hook is a 6 out of 10. I don't really need to tell them the hook is a 6 out of 10. I could ask them, what do you think of the hook? And then they're like, it's okay. Like, it's not the best hook. It's like, okay, well, why are you submitting it then? You already know that you need to work on that. Like, I'm just going to tell you the same thing that you already know. So, just fix it, right? And yeah. So anyway, that's what I want to share with you. If you want to see those examples, I'm going to create a Google Doc. I'm going to drop it in the description below. Go have a look at that. Go analyze, see how you can improve your copy. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Whoops.